Hello, and today we've got goalkeeper Mark Ridgers. How are you doing today, Mark?
Doing very well, thanks, Angus. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Let's start off. What is your first memory of playing football?
The first memory of me playing football would have been when I was obviously as a young boy in Inverness. We had a sort of in primary school. We had a division called the Street League, and I used to play in that for a team called Merkench, where, funnily enough, I wasn't a goalkeeper at the time. I kind of played sort of midfield, sort of centre half. Really, it was just anywhere that we could just wanted to play football. Really, so yeah, from then and we had quite a good team, and we won our little league that we were in, and we won a couple of cups, and that kind of, and that's in the same kind of sort of league where I ended up turning
Hmm.
into a goalkeeper because of an injury to one of our players, like the goalkeeper. I ended up
Yeah.
being put in goals, really. So obviously I wasn't great outfield. So yeah, that's like my first memory of playing football.
What age were you when you became a goalkeeper?
Probably around about going 13, 12, 13, really. So it's quite late in terms of,
Yeah.
I never really had like skill training wise. It was my older brother used to be a goalkeeper at Inverness Thistle, and then he played in the
Hmm.
Hina League at Clachnacudden. So part of the reason why I was put in goals really was because he did that. And then yeah, from that moment of, as I said, when I went in goals in the Street League, within a year I was picked up by Ross County in the youth development, and then assigned through there onwards until pretty much now, really.
What was it? When was the first time you were asked to sign an autograph?
An autograph. Probably when I was 15, when I had to sign my full-time contract at Ross County. It was I'd I'd signed for Ross County professionally, and it was literally within. It was the first kind of, they used to have before the Betfred Cup. They used to have the CIS Cup. So
Yeah.
well, way before your time. So when I was young at Ross County, I ended up on the bench on the first team because the goalkeeper Joe Mallon got injured, who was the second choice, and then Craig
Yeah.
Sampson, who was
Yeah.
played for many teams in Scotland. He was a goalkeeper at Ross County, and then he got injured during the game, and I actually came on and played against Stranraer in the CIS Cup, and I became the youngest ever player to play for Ross County. And then after that game, I was leaving the stadium, and then there was fans kind of gathered at the entrance of the stadium and stuff. And yeah, and because I had played, and there was kids and wanted me to sign their little match tickets and little. And I didn't know, like, as I said, I was only 15, really. I'd never really worked on a signature, so I just scribbling my name really quickly. But so yeah, that's probably the first time.
Did you keep a clean sheet in that game?
No, I never. I only played like 15 minutes. It was around about the 70th minute
Yeah.
or 75th minute when Craig Sampson got injured, and then I had came on. But then we won the game 4-2. But the striker for Sunnar scored a header right at like literally in the 90th minute, which was quite frustrating. But no, that whole occasion was incredible.
So goalie kits are known to be quite colourful. What are the best and worst kits you've ever worn?
The worst kit for sure is when I was at East Fife. They had the purple goalkeeping top, which is you'll see it when we beat Aberdeen, obviously in the
Yeah.
penalty shootout. Then it was quite like a famous result for us. So yeah, that purple kit, it was terrible. It was so baggy. It was so big. Yeah, so that's probably the worst goalie kit that I've ever sort of came across. The um, best one I had probably when I played in Orlando City. We had
Yeah.
a green short sleeved shirt that was really nice, and even they had an orange one as well that was there. So the Orlando kits, because they were not like your traditional long sleeve tops, because obviously the
Hmm.
weather out in Florida was really warm. So
Yeah.
yeah, probably these two kits are one of my favourite because it was a short sleeve top, and I've not really, I've never had the courage to ask the kit man for the teams I've played for to cut the sleeves of the ones that we get now. So yeah, definitely the Orlando ones would be the best ones.
Who's the best player you swap shirts with?
I'd probably say Craig Gordon. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
growing up, and then when I signed for Hearts, Craig was there, and he was one of my heroes. And then I managed to, when I was at St Mirren, I managed to play against him when he was at
Yeah.
Celtic. And then straight after the game, because having spoke to him and known him at my time at Hearts, I said to him, like, can we swap tops? So yeah, I've actually still got the top now, and it was I've been obviously in the lockdown. I've been going through a lot of memorabilia and stuff that I've collected. So yeah, Craig Gordon's top, and I've even very fortunate enough to play against him again when I went to Partick Thistle.
What's the best stadium you've played in?
Best stadium. I think probably like being able to play at Hampden Park for
Mm.
Inverness against Hearts was for me like something I'd always sort of dreamed of as a boy. Yes, I'd been on the bench while my time at Hearts for the Scottish Cup finals and semi-finals. So Hampden, yes, and then Celtic Parkhead when
Mm.
played there. But funnily enough, when I was in America, I played at, it's called the Nippert Stadium. It's a FC Cincinnati Stadium, and then they use it now
Right.
that when MLS. So I played against them when I was at Orlando City B, and
Yeah.
their stadium's incredible. It's like an American football field, and we played them. There was like 32,000 people there at a so-called reserve game, if you so-called, because like in
Mm.
Cincinnati, the fans
Yeah.
were crazy, and one of the reasons now that they're obviously in MLS. But yeah, the Nippert Stadium in America was quite an incredible experience to play there.
What are the best boots you've ever worn?
Uh, Probably the Puma One boots that sort of, if you go back to, well,
Yeah.
the evil power ones.
Hmm.
If you look at a couple of old photos of me playing at East Fife and no, sorry, St Mirren, they're like purple with like pink through them, and then I've actually still got like I still wear them at training at Cali and stuff at the moment, so they've lasted me for ages. So yeah, definitely the evil power Puma boots they're the best ones I've had.
What do you say has been the best moment of your career?
That's quite a tough one, really. I think I've I've done a lot more than what I've expected to do in my career. That's for sure. I think in terms of just playing for Scotland under 21s, to be able to do
Yeah.
that that was amazing to sort of represent my country at that age level. Club wise, being a part of the Hearts team that won the Scottish Cup was incredible. But I think, yeah, I'd probably say that my time at Hearts and just being involved in that whole entire sort of winning the Scottish Cup against Hibs and beating them 5-1 and the whole build up and then the aftermath of that was incredible. So yeah, I think to be a part of that Hearts team or as I said, playing for Scotland under 21s is definitely up there with the highlights so far.
Who's the best player you've played against?
Against, I think in Scotland, I think one of the best players I've came across, James Forrest, was like he's
Yeah.
really good at Celtic, and obviously there's been a couple, but I think when I was playing with the Scotland under 21s, we played Italy at Easter Road, and Marco Verratti, he played for
Mm.
Italy that night, and that
Yeah.
night he was only still 17 or so, but he was incredible that night. So yeah, for me, Marco Verratti is probably the best player that I've seen. Like no one just in awe of watching, because
Could
he was so good that night, and then he went and moved to Paris Saint-Germain not long after that. So yeah,
mm,
probably I'd have to say Marco Verratti stands out.
could you tell like at that age that you would go on and play for PSG and become one of the best midfielders in the world?
Oh yeah, he controlled the game. You know, he was. A lot of people were said how he was like the next Pirlo or something, but you could see that he was passing. He never really gave the ball away. He just
Mm.
found the right pass at such a young age. Playing yes, it was a under 21 international, but the tempo of the game and the way Italy played went through him. And I think at that time, when there's certain players all around the world that you see that can control the game and the tempo of the game, and he was one of them. And that night stood out for me and still does nowadays. So
Mm.
yeah, definitely.
What's been your worst performance on the football pitch?
Being a goalkeeper, you get a lot of them. Trust me, you get a lot of. I think one that sticks out for me is when I was at Airdrie on loan. It was we're getting hammered. I can't really remember who it was against actually, but it was played through and it was a wet night on the AstroTurf and the ball had come out and I've ran out the 18-yard box as you know daft keepers do, and I went to try and clear the ball, but I've completely missed the ball. I've air swiped the ball. I've just landed there on the ground. The strikers ran in and scored, and just at that moment, I just remember lying there in the wet with the black marks from the AstroTurf on
Oh,
my face, and I'm like, what have I just did? And then it was just so humiliating. Like, luckily, the one good thing is there wasn't that many fans at the game, you know, or wasn't on television. So yeah, definitely sort of that moment, one that I've always remembered. You know, touch wood, I've never done since. So but then again, that's why I just probably stay in my box quite a lot now and don't tend to venture outside.
fair enough. What was the last game you played before COVID?
The last game we played would have been a midweek game at home against Queen of the South. We ended up winning 2-1 or 3-1, I can't remember. Yeah, it would have been that. And the only reason I can remember that because the weather was terrible. It was like
Oh,
wind and rain, and it was a howling. It was a terrible night, and I remember just thinking, we had travelled to Queen of the South on a Tuesday night previously, and then they
yeah.
had to come up, and then it's just thinking for those boys that had to travel back down the road. So yeah, it was the game against Queen of the South.
And just finally, when was the last time you had to pay for a ticket to go to a football match?
Well, it probably would have been last sort of when the season passed. Like I go
Yeah,
to like Clachnacudden or Clach. They're like my local team. So as I grew
yeah,
up as a boy, I used to go and watch them. And then recently they had a game at the Inverness has a new rugby facility with like state of the art pitch and training.
yeah,
And they played Fort William. And we obviously at Inverness we had quite a lot of young boys on loan at Fort William. And I grew up a Clach fan. So I go to them, and I always pay to get into the gate, like, and
yeah.
because I said just giving back something to my local team. So yeah, that was probably the last time I'd paid for it. In terms of SPL games, you meet so many people in football. So yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people, yeah, they sort you out for free tickets and stuff. So yeah, that's, as I said, in terms of like that, that's probably a question that stumbles a lot of people.
Right, Mark, that wraps it up. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. Thank you very much. Good talking to you.
Thank you.